Hey everyone. Have you noticed the same thing I've been noticing lately? That the Trump train has been accumulating a whole lot of extra cars as of late. I mean, that Trump train is getting longer and longer. They must be adding engines all the time to be able to keep up. And the reason for that, it's not because, I don't give a shit about the political process. I don't believe in masters or rulers, as I've said in many occasions prior and in many videos that I've already made. But let's be honest here. The more the fucking establishment or the regressive left or the collectivists or the neocons, the establishment Republicans, the more they hate on Trump for being this outsider, the more appealing he is to the general masses that also feel in the same way that they're just slaves to the ruling class. What the fucking collectivists, what the political propagandists and the media pundits don't recognize, or do they? Makes you wonder, right? It's a head scratcher. But they are literally forcing more and more people onto the Trump train by doing what they do. They're unwilling to clean up their own house, to acknowledge their own shortcomings or downfalls or bullshit narratives they present. The more they try to double down on their bullshit propaganda, the more they're forcing people to, like I say, jump on the Trump train. And with Trump now, they can talk all the smack they want about, Breitbart being in charge of them, his media or his campaign, but look at how well that's working out for him. The more they attack you, right? Usually when you're talking about establishment media attacking you, it's for a reason. And they're attacking them at an even higher rate these days. And the reason for that is because he's not going off the rails like he used to. As much as a lot of us like to see that because the entertainment factor, right? But the more he's becoming more politician-like, the more he's being able to compete on their level and beat them at every stage of the game. Like I say, I don't know how they think that's going to work out good for them. Oh, by the way, shirtpunch.com. If you want to get out and get people talking, it's not like I say, I'm not a Trump lover, but already I've only had this shirt for a few days, and the comments I've had on it, and they've actually been positive. I'm actually hoping to elicit, when I wear it, it's like I want to elicit some response. I want to see some, but actually, so far the only 2 comments I've got were positive from a little old lady and from a checkout counter at Walmart in Canada. But both of them, same thing. Yeah, I like your shirt, man. Where'd you get your shirt? Build that wall. Shirtpunch.com or Nerdblock. You can get the same thing, same shirt at Nerdblock if you want. .com, .ca, whatever. Anyways, back to the topic at hand. Headline article from Andrew Coyne from the National Post. We are staring into the abyss of a Trump presidency, and many people are to blame. A month ago, Donald Trump stood 7 points back of Hillary Clinton in the polls. State-by-state projections gave Clinton as much as 2/3 of the Electoral College. Today, an average of recent surveys puts Trump just 1 point behind. The Electoral College is similarly up for grabs. Wow, that's pretty close, huh? See how people's minds can change? And in reality, you know what it is? When these pollsters put out the polls, especially the ones, people know now. Everyone knows what the Polish establishment groups, everyone knows which way they lean politically. So yes, even though there are a lot of people that won't answer the questionnaires prior to Trump's new, reinvention of himself, but prior to that, of course, a lot of people were like, especially when Trump was against, the father of the fallen soldier and all this shit. It's like they were unwilling to own up, and because people are fearful of the retribution and retaliation if they accept or embrace the fact that they support Trump, polls are always going to be misrepresentative and skewed, right? Because people don't want to own up to it. But in the polling booth, when nobody's looking, right, when you got that curtain closed behind you, think about how many of them are actually going to, yeah, fuck, I hate the establishment. Trump, check, Trump it is. So, as far as I'm concerned, all the people, all the odds, all the wagers, all the gamblers that are saying that Trump's going to lose because of polls, they're not looking at the big picture. Personally, myself, I think ideally, best case scenario, I'm just throwing this out there, but the best case scenario, but like I said, it's just, it's not the end all be all, but if you look at the type of people that are in positions of power and influence all around the most developed countries on the planet, they're feminists, special interest groups, right? Central planners, those that love to use central planning for subjugation and mysticism as a means to an end. What better time than, as the last nail in the coffin, put Hillary Clinton in charge and then just let the whole system crash. What better time for it to happen? If the system is going to crash, which I think it has to happen at some stage of the game, right? It has to happen. Some kind of correction or reset has to take place before anything starts to fundamentally start off from the ground floor and work to a better and prosperous endeavor. Do you want Trump to be the captain of a sinking ship? I don't know. Or is the ship salvageable? That's the ultimate question that it comes down to. If this ship is salvageable, maybe Trump might be the proper choice. But if it's not, and if you truly believe that the ship is going to sink regardless of whatever you do you really want Trump to be in charge of that sinking ship? Or would you want Hillary, Elizabeth May, Trudeau, the feminists, here in Canada, Wynne, Notley, Christy Clark. I mean, think of all the feminists and special interest groups that are in positions of power and influence nowadays. I mean, if you want to write history books in the future, if you want future historians to have a great narrative to go by, wouldn't that be, put all the, like Christine Lagarde, right? Put all the feminists, put all the collectivists, put all the socialists in power. That's probably the best time to let the fucking whole system collapse. Or if Trump does take power, you better let it collapse immediately after, so that he doesn't get blamed because he hasn't been in position of power or influence to have that kind of effect, right? But either way, I really believe that we are on the precipice. If there is some central plan, and if collectivism is as powerful as we suspect, right? If central planners do sit around and conspire, that scenario in which you have the two most hated or loathing candidates running for presidential leadership in the United States. Like I say, 2016 seems to be the time when I think things will either finally come to fruition and incentives will be properly laid out and a hands-off approach will finally be taken, and just stop propping up everything and just let the cards fall as they may, right? I think 2016 is going to be that year. It won't be till 2017 where we'll see the consequences and ramification of how that will play out. But as much as I do, even myself, I got to tell you, because everyone seems to hate on the Trump, it's even causing me. And once again, I'm telling you right now, even if I was American, I still wouldn't be voting for either or. I don't believe in masters and rulers. But I am growing more and more every day to the point where I understand why people Even Bernie. Like I said, I'm not a fan of Bernie either. I mean, you couldn't be any further a fan than Bernie than me, because he pushed for socialism. But it's all about anti-establishment, right? Poking your fucking fingers in the eye of those fuckers that have been controlling, manipulating your lives for so many years. That's what it's really coming down to. How this is going to pan out or play out, I don't know. I don't have a crystal ball. And even if I did, I wouldn't trust in its ability to predict the future. But something's going to happen. And I don't know which of the lesser of two evils that's going to end up in charge. But Trump has definitely shown that he's not going down without a fight. That I do know for certain. It's Canadian Libertarian, and I love liberty.